Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a recent reads wrap up and just a February wrap up because I did a February TBR and two new series that I purchased. I'll start off with the two series that I purchased recently, and the first one is very well-known series, and it is the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. In here we have A Court of Thorns and Roses, Court of Mist and Fury, Court of Wings and Ruin, Court of Frost and Starlight, Court of Silver Flames. I know this is a really popular series. I won't even go over it because everybody throughout the whole world has basically read this series. I would love to do a reading vlog. I have Throne of Glass series sitting on my shelves too for a couple years and I haven't touched it. My problem with buying books is that I buy it without the intention of reading it right away, but I want to have it in case I'm in the mood to read it. At least I'll have it. That's how I feel about Court of Thorns Roses. I don't think I'll read this right away. When it comes to Sarah J. Maas books, I've heard nothing but great things. People love Throne of Glass, people love A Court of Thorns and Roses, people love Crescent City. Of course, there are other people who don't really like her writing, but majority of people seem to love it. I am excited to eventually get into Sarah J. Maas's universe. I think I want to start with a Throne of Glass series first, and then maybe get into this series next, but we'll see. We'll see. After that, I got a Court of Ravens series. It's actually a duology. This is by Liv Zander. This duology consists of Feathers So Vicious and Shadows So Cruel. I did not expect this, but when these books came in the mail, they have these beautiful edges. I don't buy books based off of sprayed edges. I just thought they were gorgeous. This, I believe, is a dark romance duology. The reason I got this is because I will be buddy reading it with my cousin. My cousin and I, we read the Mindfuck series together and we just bonded so much over that, and we wanted to bond over another series. So I found this and it seemed very interesting. It is dark romance. Why choose, I think, and those are genres that I don't really dip into much, only because sometimes it can be kind of triggering for me. But I know my cousin really loves those genres. I think it's about the main girl. She gets kidnapped, because that's usually how these fantasy stories go. There's two guys, and I think they're brothers, but they're shapeshifters. They can shapeshift into ravens, something like that. One of the brothers is vicious and cruel. The other one is very sweet and kind. So that's, I think, the dynamic that's going on. But I heard good things, so I am excited to go into this, but I feel like I have to prepare myself because I did hear there's a bunch of trigger warnings. So now I'll get into my recent reads and my February wrap up. In February, I ended up reading or finishing 2 out of 5 books on my TBR. The first one is Home Before Dark. This is by Riley Sager. This book basically is about Maggie, who, when she was 5 years old, her and her family experienced some paranormal events in this house that they moved into, and her dad capitalized on that and wrote this book that became an instant bestseller. And then 25 years later, Maggie's father dies and she finds out that she is inheriting this haunted house. So then she goes back to see if the events actually happened or if everything her dad wrote about was a lie. And so she gets there and creepiness ensues. I gave this book a 4.5 star rating. I had a fantastic time. This book was so creepy. It scared me. It scared me. I couldn't read this book at night. Let's just say that. There were a lot of creepy moments, a lot of scary moments, a lot of hair-raising moments, a lot of moments that just got to me. I really liked Maggie's character because she was the kind of person who didn't let anybody push her around, and she was pretty stubborn. So it was fun reading from her point of view. The atmosphere of this book was very creepy and scary. I think it would be great to read during October or spooky season or for Halloween. I think it fits the vibe very well. And the twists were very fun to read about too. Some were predictable, but overall it was still just a ride to go on. I had such a great time with this book. I enjoyed it more than Lock Every Door, for sure. I think reading 2 of his books so far kind of solidified in my mind that I want to read more from him. So I am excited to read more from Riley Sager. And then the second book I finished in February is Smithsonian Intimate Guide to the Cosmos. It was fun to read, and it was really fun to see all the images of space. It was very digestible, very simple, easy for readers who are not very familiar with space to dive into space. It was a great intro to that, and the images were fun, and I gave it a 3.5 star rating. I also read The Vampire's Fake Fiancé. This is book 5. By Kristen Painter in the Nocturne Falls series. I gave this book a 2-star rating. I think this was my least favorite book in the series that I've read so far. This book basically is about Sebastian, who is like a grumpy vampire. And one day his wife, who they're technically not together, but I guess in the vampire world, legally his wife, shows up unexpectedly. And he still does have feelings for her, and she believes that he has not moved on. So to prove him wrong, he hires Tessa, who is a Valkyrie, to play his fake fiance and basically show his wife that, hey, I moved on, I'm about to marry this girl. The main characters, Sebastian and Tessa, were incredibly boring characters. They were not enjoyable to read from. Their interests weren't even that interesting, and Tessa is like a book nerd, and I don't know, but she considers it a boring hobby, or at least in this book it's considered to be a boring hobby. And I don't understand how being a book nerd or reading books is considered a boring hobby. Sebastian could not get his feelings straight. Like, on one page, he thinks she's boring and she cannot play the part of his fake fiance, and she will not be able to face off his wife. And the next page, he's like, oh my god, she's so lovely and I love her and she's so pretty and she's so hot and she's so smart. And it just doesn't make sense, because Sebastian has lived as a vampire for like 300 to 400 years, and you're telling me all this time you can't get your shit straight? You can't get your feelings in order? You have all this time to do it. For what? You can't even figure out your own feelings? Vampires have no excuse. You lived this long, you've lived for hundreds of years, and you cannot sort out your problems. No excuse. Another thing that doesn't make sense is that Sebastian handles the finances in Nocturne Falls, because his family were like the founding family of the Nocturne Falls. And his younger brother, Julian, wanted to request building a wedding chapel or something, but Sebastian declines it because it's too expensive and it'll take too much out of the funds, but he's out here driving an Aston Martin. What? I don't understand how that's handling finances. Another thing that bothered me was that Sebastian and Tessa, they did not want to pursue this relationship really. Like, they didn't really want to get into a relationship together and be serious, but they like randomly kiss throughout the book. Like, there are random moments where they just kiss and then they just go back to normal, like nothing happened. Okay. There was a lot of tell, don't show moments. Like, Sebastian described Tessa as being very sharp and quick-witted and just, very brainy woman, but it's not shown. It's not shown in the book. It's just telling the reader that she's smart and she's witty, but it's like the dialogue that she has with Sebastian proves otherwise. And then Tessa describes Sebastian as the vampire version of Mr. Darcy, which is insulting. Overall, did not like the book, did not like the characters. There were just a few moments of fun, but very few moments, and it was definitely my least favorite book in the series so far. I also read Mortal Coil, which is book 5 in the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. I rave about the series so much. Like, I love the books that I've read. However, book 5 just did not do it for me. I gave it a 3.5 star rating, which is the lowest rating I've had for any of the books in the series so far. Basically, the adventures for Valkyrie and Skull continue as they try to stop spirits from possessing people in Ireland. I felt like this book was longer than necessary. There were some scenes that were important to drive the plot and the characters, but they still felt like filler scenes. I do not like the love triangle that is developing between Valkyrie and 2 boys. I hope it does not further develop. I hope that there is no love triangle, because it is so unnecessary. The plot to this book was not that exciting, as the previous books. I do feel like the books are taking a more serious tone in general, so I think they're gonna head towards more darker themes. A lot of the scenes did feel rushed, and I felt like they were not being explored enough, especially the romance scenes. The romance subplot I feel like is just there for the sake of being there. I feel like it's not really serving a purpose. I'm still gonna continue the series because I still love like the quirk, the sarcasm, and the dialogue and the banter between the characters. That's still there, and that is still fun, but everything else kind of didn't really do it for me. I also ended up reading Mistborn. I don't feel like I need to explain this book much, only because a lot of people have read it. This is my first book of Brandon Sanderson's that I've read. I have heard it's a great start into his series and into his books in general. I loved this book so much. It got a 5-star from me. I kept thinking about this book days after I finished it. It had a lasting impact on me. It truly was an amazing book. It was excellent. It checked all the boxes for me. I love Brandon Sanderson's writing. His writing is so easy and addictive and descriptive. I feel like even if I don't know what I'm reading, I'd continue reading it because his writing is so enticing and it just pulls you into his world. The world building was amazing. I loved it so much. The magic system was very fun, very unique and very interesting. And it's not so complicated because I feel like there's some magic systems that are a little harder to wrap your mind around, but Brandon Sanderson's magic system Mistborn is really good. It's really easy to like understand what he's trying to tell you through how the characters use the magic. And I did love all the action scenes where the characters did get to use their magic. It was so fun and I felt like I was there. I think that Brandon Sanderson has a really good way of showing action scenes where it's not done in a way where you get lost and you can't picture it. I loved all the characters. Vin, I love Vin so much, and I love how we got to see where she started, how she was like a little mouse, you know, in the corner, and then how she grew. She became more confident, especially in her abilities. She understood her magical abilities more. She was able to use it, and she was able to learn more about herself in general. So I am excited to see just how she will continue to grow, and then her love with Ellen is so cute. They're just adorable. So I do love her as a character. At the end of the book, I felt very hopeful for this kingdom that they were trying to fight for, and I felt very hopeful for all the characters too. Like by the end of the book, I just felt hopeful. There was just a roller coaster of emotions, very interesting plot, and very well written characters. It was just a really good book. I cannot wait till I start Well of Ascension. Alrighty guys, so that's all I have for this. Let me know what you guys are reading right now, but other than that, I will see you guys in another video. Please take care of yourself, please take care of everyone around you, and I will see you later. Bye.